I'm going to paint probably very pale, light colors, kind of almost a muted wash. Probably a little bluish on the roof tiles and yellow, orangish, bluish, pale on the stonework on the building. So I'm going to get my palette going here. I'll use my little sprig. I'll get my blues going first. I got my cool palette here, and I got my warm palette underneath. Get some water going on that. I'll get started on my blue first. So let's get somewhat of a bigger brush. This is a 16. My Princeton Aqua Elites that I really, really like. I'll start up here. I think I want to do a little roof back. Now, I think that's all I'm going to do for the blue. Let's get our warm palette going here. It's going to be kind of a yellowish. Let's put a little bit of that in there. Water out so I can get a little more brighter color in there. Blue up here. We're not seeing that, are we here? And so we get a little dark stuff going under here. Probably a little darker here. Little by little, you start seeing what you need to do with a lot of this. So, you can see I used a big 16 for even the little work that I do. I just get a little more shady on this side. And probably a little more up in here. Get a little of this brownish up here on the windows. I think we're just going to call it good for now. So now I let the watercolors dry, and I'm going to start layering over a few more ink lines before I do the next layer of watercolor. So let's just get some of the highlights and shadows in. This just starts bringing out the depth. And a lot of this comes from just experience on what should be shaded. I'm trying to get the light coming from this way, so I just keep that in mind when I start putting some of my darker highlights in here. I'm using a Fude pen which has the bent nib, which allows me to change the thicknesses of my lines. And I'm just going to do kind of shadow highlights right now. I'm not going to worry about all the lines for the stones and that. I'll get at that later. This is just to get down before I start doing my next watercolor wash. See how things are starting to pop out a little bit in the 3D. That's all we're trying to accomplish with these random lines. think I'm going to put little stepped corners here so it makes that look like it's coming out that way. I think we're going to leave it. Those are just simple little lines that I wanted to get in there to help make this thing pop a little bit in the 3D plane. So, okay, now that I've done my dark shading highlights with the pen, I'm going to do another watercolor wash. And this one's just going to be adding some of the colors into the areas. It won't be my last watercolor, but it'll be the probably second from the last. I think I got 2 more steps. So, got that done. Time to do some add some color and stuff to the so we're going to go into areas that need a little darkening. And there would be a little shadow down in here too, maybe down in here. I do want to get a little bit here. That wouldn't be in the sunlight, so let's just put some stuff in there. I think we're getting there. a little more darkness here. Right in here. I'm going to want to put just a little greened tints. In some of these areas. So we're just going to water this down. I just want to get just another little color in here. All right, that's going to do it for this one. All right, now that I got that layer of watercolor wash done, I am going to start doing some of the fine lines before I do my final watercolor wash. So I kind of, as you can see, do these in different layers and different steps. It just tends to work out good for me, and so let's get at it. So I'm going to be doing a few more dark highlights just to kind of start bringing the image out. Starting to come around. This side's going to be a little darker. Remember, always think about your shade sides. So these are all darker than these sides. And if you just keep that in mind, you start getting depth into your pictures. This is also where I can start adjusting some of the lines. As you can see here, I had to slant a little off, and I was able to just correct that a little bit with some line work. Again, I tend to want to mirror whatever I'm doing so it looks like correct construction. If you don't do that, the eye kind of picks up on that and senses that there's probably something wrong. Get my corner in here so where I can put a few more lines and stuff. I always like to mess up my corners. Just kind of, I don't know, tends to like add age or something to it. I'm not quite sure, but I don't like to just do them plain. Always take these moldings outside that line. It helps give it the depth that it deserves, I guess, but just a kind of little thing that I tend to do. And it's getting actually close to where I want it to be, but I think the last layer of color you'll see is the thing that really adds. Not quite sure what all this is up in here, but I'm going to add it. I may put a little brown on that, make it look like there's some wood. Whenever I do these scribble lines like I'm doing right now, I tend to put thicker ones on the bottom than the tops. Again, just to help add shadow. And then like this side thinner, this side a little thicker. And you'll see that that starts to bring that out. It's very, very small detail, but I think it really tends to add to your depth and your 3D look to it. So. These are very, very minute lines. They're almost representing that there would be a joint there. You don't have to draw the full lines in there. I think that messes it up too often, but and these lines, the angles as you get to eye level start straightening out. You're getting the slant because of the perspective as it gets height. So you got to kind of understand perspective a little bit to start getting these correct, because if you draw these wrong, it just gets weird on the house. I'm not going to do a whole lot with the steps. Maybe just some horizontal lines here. I kind of want the steps to not be more or less part of the picture. Alright, well, unfortunately I missed recording this last wash process, so I apologize for that. I'm going to do a little sky work now, possibly some clouds. Alright, so we get started here again, and now we're going to do a little bit more black shading. Let me find the 12. Nah, it's a little big. Let's go with a 10. How about an 8? it works. Okay. Palette up here. Should be good with water yet. That's pretty good. That should do it. So now we're going to just start darkening some of the areas. I like to really emphasize shadow on a lot of these parts. Here's a combination of darks and water. Kind of make that fade. I'll put a little bit up on top here again. It should be darker. Let's get a little bit of brown in here. All right, I think we've got her. We'll put a little blue up in here yet, and I'm going to put a little brown up. As I said before, I want to kind of make those look like beams or wood parts here, so I'm going to make those a little bit redder. Now I am going to start doing some ink lines here. And I'm going to use this pen again. I'm just going to do a few more highlights, areas that I think needs a little work. And then I'm going to do my trademark kind of scratchy lines. So I've got a couple here that we're missing. I use the top side of the pen to get smaller lines with the fountain pen, and I do a lot of these kind of extended lines. Barely leaving any kind of marks, but they're there and your eye can kind of pick up on them, and that's all I really like to do with this. They're just random kind of scratchy lines. You don't want to overdo it, but it just kind of adds a little texture to it. I kind of enjoy doing this a lot. I'm going to actually put some paint in those windows. They're a little bit too light here. So I'll just go over here, grab a brush, I think that's pretty good. I'm just going to look at it. I think I need a little more paint in that area. You just grab a little, maybe some stuff with some blue. Yeah, that'll work. Dark, very dark. just to get in here. A few more ink lines, and I think we're gonna have it. There's some stuff down here. Oh, let's see, an 05, 02, that works. So these are just lines I put in here, little specks. And I could just put a few little dots and specks in there. So these are actually my fake spatters. I think I just do a few of them. I think they add a little interest rather than getting a brush out and trying to spatter and then oops, they kind of didn't go where I wanted them. And I think that's probably pretty good. I like it. I'm gonna live with that. I'm gonna get a 05 pen here and put my signature right down here. There we go. Finished.